Sydney.
And I'm Jonathan.
And this is our van build. If you're new here, I'm Sydney, and my boyfriend Jon and I just recently separated from the military, and we are building a camper van out of our 2021 Ford Transit high roof. We are just going to be traveling around the United States with our two dogs, Naimi and Duncan, and going to school full time. Over the past 2 weeks, we have been working quite tirelessly on the van. We have gotten a lot done. We've gotten the framework of the shower done. We have a framework for our wall that's going to go in between the front seats and the living area of the van. And we've got the start of some of the plumbing for the shower as well as start of some of the electrical. But this video is going to be pretty much talking about the shower and how we built the framework of the shower and how we built the framework of the wall, why we chose to have a shower in our non-extended van, so our really tiny living space, and why we decided to put a wallet between the seats. So, yeah. For us, a shower was a necessity. Random liquid nail. We are going to be living off the grid for an undetermined amount of time, and we wanted to be able to have the option to shower comfortably in our own living space versus rely on campgrounds or public gyms. We wanted to be able to have the option to shower within our own home. It was the one thing we knew that we needed in the van. The shower does take up quite a bit of living space. Aside from the bed and seating area, it easily takes up the most space in the van. So the way we built the framework of the shower is we built the wall first. So the wall separates the seats from the living area. We built the wall using two 2x6s, one on the floor, one on, not the ceiling, but one up higher, and then built framed 2x4s along the outer edges of the 2x6s to give at least the wall some framework and some depth. So that's the far right side of the shower. The left side of the shower we built with 2x4s, so we have a bottom 2x4 and then two 2x4s going up, and then 1x4s as framed pieces within the wall. So we plan to use that space to do built-in shelves and other things to maximize storage options. The shower pan that we ordered has a little lip over it, and so we had to build up that front lip area so that we weren't tripping and it wasn't breaking on anything. For the inside of the shower, we used 1/4-inch plywood to cover the framing of the shower on all three sides. And then we put thin white FRP board on top of that plywood. So the way we glued the FRP board to the plywood was using liquid nail and then clamping a piece of plywood on top of it to press against the FRP board to the glue while it dried to try to get it to be more even and smooth texture. There's still a little bit of lumps in it, but it doesn't look too bad. As for the ceiling of the shower, we had to build up the framework for the shower to screw into the ceiling better, as well as offer some support for our puck light. So we have a puck light in the shower that is separate from the other puck lights in the van, which will allow us to be able to turn on the shower light individually versus connected to all the other lights in the van. As for the wall that's separating the seats from the living area of the van, we originally wanted to put a doorway to give us access to the rest of the van from the front. However, we decided against it just because we don't have as much experience in building doorways. So we opted to instead make that little area a closet space. Because we use 2x6s, the wall is pretty deep, and so we're going to put a full-length mirror on the living area side of the van and use it as a door, which we'll get to in a later video once we get to that part, but right now we just built up the framework. So that's the ultimate goal, and then that space will allow us to have clothes hanging up inside of the wall, and on the cab side of the wall we'll have a ton of extra storage because the wall is about 7 inches from the back of the seats. So we'll be able to stick our dog kennel, jackets, dog food, whatever behind the seats. That way we can optimize storage space from the front of the cab. Additionally, from the top of the van, the ceiling of the van, to the top 2x6, there's a gap. We plan on putting a cabinet there and storing pantry items, clothes, stuff like that. But for now, we've just built the framework, so we will get to the nitty-gritty of that wall at a later time. But yeah, so we've been busy with that. What's, I think, the most difficult about building anything inside the van is that nothing is a 90, nothing is level, and so you kind of have to build things outside the van but then bring it into the van and adjust for the van. For example, on the left side of the shower you can tell that we have a 2x4 and another 2x4 and then another piece of wood that's kind of getting it to line up to the wall of the van. We had to do that quite a bit here and there, put shims in spaces just to make sure everything was solid and good to go. It's kind of fun building in a van. I think it prepares you for anything. If you can build stuff in a van, I think you could build stuff outside of a van. But we also focused heavily on this past week getting the plumbing, not really plumbing, but the components for our compost toilet vent. So I'll discuss in a later video how the compost toilet works, because I don't really know how it works. But it has a vent, and I've seen a lot of videos where they just put the vent on the outside wall, and so all the stinky goes outside through the side. But John didn't want it anywhere near the van, so we had to build it up into the top, which meant drilling yet another hole in the van for the vent to go out the top, which was also nerve-wracking. Anytime you drill a hole in the van, it's kind of terrifying, but yeah.
You know what we could do? What? We could do zip time.
Absolutely.
Then we also had to do the drain for the shower. This one was a little bit more scary. We ordered a 15-gallon gray water tank, and we ordered it custom to Ford Transits, so it fits right under the van really easily, and it butts up really close to the gas tank. So when drilling a hole in the van, we had to make sure that wherever the drain was going to go, it didn't hit anything. So we drilled a hole into the van and made sure to seal it off and made sure to get the hole perfect for the gray water tank. So the problem we ran into, at least with the drain and the fittings, is a lot of fittings are pipe threaded versus I don't know. So, hey babe. Hey babe. Hey babe. Come here. So, pipe threaded versus what?
Pipe thread or straight thread.
So what was it? The drain itself was pipe threaded?
No, everything was straight thread. The male in, the female in at the bottom for the trap, the drain's male in, but the connector is female in. That was straight thread. And the 90 degree or the 90 degree was straight thread, which was what we needed. But the adapter, the female end of the adapter, was pipe thread. And we could not find a non-pipe thread straight adapter. Because most PVC is pipe thread. Because you want that tight.
Locked.
You want it, yeah, you want it to be tight. You want it to lock. You usually just put some plumber's tape. But we had to use pipe dope to make up for
the lack of locking.
No, the lack of depth that we got from the threading.
Mm.
And then I siliconed both ends.
We used a lot of silicone. There's a ton of silicone.
The problem we were running into was positioning the trap. The trap needed to be high enough that we weren't going to run into an issue installing the 15-gallon gray water tank. We do have a little RV trap, so it's much smaller than the S shape that you see under your sink in your home. But when installing the drain, we have a silver version of the black drain that we installed into the van, and a 90. So the 90 that comes with this is straight thread, and the drain is straight thread. Basically what that means is there's no resistance when you screw it in. It's going to go all the way down. But most PVC pipe that you find, most adapters at least, are going to be pipe thread, and that was a problem because the 90 that came with the drain was perfect. We needed to find the exact same thing that was straight. We went to Home Depot, we went to several plumbing stores, and no one sells a straight thread version of an 1.5-inch adapter. So what we took was pipe dope, put it around it, screwed it in until it was nice and snug, and then we siliconed to seal the gap, and then we cut this PVC pipe down to size, so it was about 3.5 inches when we installed the tube to go through the subfloor, and now it connects to the trap under the van, which then will lead straight into our 15-gray water tank.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
It's starting to look like something.
Starting to look like something.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Good, cute.
Thank you.
It's like a human butterfly. That was more moth-like, but we'll figure it out.
Thanks for watching.
A lot of progress has happened in this video. Pretty proud of what we've been able to do, and hopefully when you come back we have cabinets done.
Cabinets and electric.
That's
like I've been
just
saying.
kind of sprinkled in every video.
I feel like I've been
That's
saying
kind of
that
like
forever.
how often has boat getting boot. That's kind of like us saying, oh, today we're doing framework. This week we're doing framework.
Every day is framework.
We're still not done with framework probably.
But yeah, next week hopefully we have some cabinets.
Drawers are stupid.
Yeah. Thanks for watching and tune in for next week. Cue sprinklers. Oh, I wasn't recording. Hi, I'm Sydney.
Now I'm messed up for real. She's Sydney. Oh, I'm John.
Stop it!
Look how pretty she looks. That's all, folks. We're looking there. We're supposed to look there. That's all, folks.
Stop being creepy.